Hello and welcome to the Everyday Polymath Podcast. I'm Keith, your Everyday Polymath, here with you today to discuss the Polymath principles. Remember to subscribe and review the podcast when you get a chance. Also, you'd like to show us some love on social media or shoot us a message out on the website at www.everydaypolymath.com. It's always appreciated. Today, we're looking into the mind of a polymath to find out how we are able to break from the societal and peer pressures of being a specialist in one field. Instead, polymaths accumulate an eclectic variety of knowledge and apply it to be some of the most successful people in history. In this podcast, we will discuss some of the principles that allow polymaths to see the world from a different perspective, and how by applying these concepts to your own life, that you can begin your journey to greatness today. The foundation of the polymath principles is a balance between the four areas of life: the intellectual, physical, social, and artistic. An overview of the concept was discussed in our previous podcast. In case you missed it, be sure to check it out. But essentially, by keeping a balance between these four areas, a polymath is able to live a more well-rounded life. Beyond the four areas, there are 6 other principles that I discuss in my book, Becoming an Everyday Polymath. The first of which is very important, this being follow your curiosity. By following your curiosity, you're having a passion for learning new things. Nowadays, the world is at our fingertips. You can't be afraid to follow your interests. You need to go out there and explore. By brainstorming and exploring all the various resources available, beyond even just the internet and electronic resources, you can even go back to finding books and going to the library, meeting up with groups, making connections, finding clubs. In addition to all these other online resources, there's really an unlimited amount of information out there if you seek it. By going out there and answering all of your questions about a topic, you invest time in it. You're able to better understand it. You start coming up with your own ideas about it, and your passion grows. Now, the more time you put into learning something, the better you'll retain that information and carry it on to teach others about it. There should never be a limit to the knowledge that you seek. By going out there and staying curious, you get yourself out there, you get yourself involved, and you get yourself excited again about life. Your curiosity is the key to keeping yourself excited every day. It is the key to keeping you motivated, to improving yourself, taking yourself to that next level, for living your life to the fullest every day. Get out there and stay curious. Number 2 goes right along with your curiosity. It's trying things out of your comfort zone. This is huge. You get curious about something you might not know a lot about. You might have to get out of that comfort zone you're in. By trying new things often, it allows you to be out of your comfort zone and to really learn new things about yourself that you may have not known. You never really know what you're capable of until you challenge yourself with new things. It allows you to learn and grow, and there's nothing that's going to build your confidence more than doing something you didn't think you were even capable of. You've got to get out of that comfort zone. You got to mix it up. You got to give yourself challenges each day and goals to achieve in order to become that better person that you know you are. By taking the time to just shaking up your life a little bit, whether it's taking a different route to the grocery store or going out there and jumping out of an airplane, you got to do things that aren't in a routine to push you above and beyond what you perceive your capabilities are. Because trust me, they further exceed anything you can imagine. In addition to helping you to grow as a person, in your achievements and what you perceive as your capabilities, this also really helps you to learn how to adapt to the unknown and to cope with unforeseen life changes without disrupting your normal mental condition. If you get comfortable being out of your comfort zone, then you're going to be okay no matter what life throws at you. We know that life gives us surprises. They're not always good ones. But if you have the right frame of mind to begin with, then you can take something that initially feels negative and you can learn and build from it, and you can turn that thing around and you can make it a positive. You can make yourself stronger. You can grow, and you can learn lessons that you can pass on to others and help them grow. Don't be afraid to go out there and getting out of your comfort zone and just trying new things, changing your routine, and becoming an even better person because of the challenges you created for yourself. After looking ahead and trying to improve ourselves going forward, number 3, we want to look back a little bit and reflect on the past. That's why the third Polymath principle is to reconnect with your old hobbies that you love. Remember that all of your previous experiences make you who you are today. No matter what may have caused you to lose touch with an old hobby or interest, you can always go back to it. It's a part of your personality. It's who you are. So no matter how much time has passed, remember, you can always go back and get involved again. You might not be able to be involved in the same way, but you can still reconnect with that person you were when you were involved. Remember the lessons, the skills that you learned from that interest. And maybe you just find a different way to reconnect with it. You know, you might not be able to play hockey like you used to, but maybe you can coach. Or maybe you don't have the time to put into the knitting or to sewing like you used to, but you could show someone else how to do it. Or maybe you just do some smaller projects when you do have time. Set the time aside. It's important to always have interests in your life. It keeps us excited. And even though life may have led us away from some things we enjoyed, we can always go back to them. And at least take a little bit of time, even if we can't make a long-term commitment to it. Just remember the joy that you felt from being involved with it. And remember all of the lessons that you learned in the time that you were working towards that craft. And remember, as you learn new things, as you explore new interests, that you've done it before and you can do it again. You know, there was always a time when you didn't know anything about it. Say it was riding a bicycle. You used to ride your bike all the time. Well, there was day one when you didn't know how to ride a bike, right? And you worked hard. And you kept getting on. You fall down. You keep getting back on. It's the same thing with every interest. And maybe you don't ride for a while. But then, one day you rent a bike and you jump on. And maybe you're a little unsteady at first. But once you get pedaling, it's literally just like riding a bicycle. And you can use this in all things in life. You've done it before. You can do it again. No matter what skill, what interest that intrigues you now, today, remember your past interests. And how no matter what obstacles were in your way, you were able to rise above them. And any obstacles that come at you in your new interests, your new hobbies, the new skills you're trying to obtain, you can rise above those challenges as well. You have the capability. Never give up. Stay on top of it, reflect, and move forward. Getting that confidence from remembering how you learned your old skills is an even greater gift than the remembrance and the memories of what you used to do. But whatever you get out of it, remember, try and reconnect with some old hobbies that you loved. I think you're really going to enjoy the experience and be thankful for it. If you've been interested in starting your own podcast, I've got a great suggestion for you. It's the one I decided to go with as I checked this off my life list to begin a podcast. Check out Anchor. Not only is it free, but they give you a tremendous selection of tools to help you create and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It was amazing. I was able to start
right out the gate. Not only that, but they'll also distribute your podcast for you, so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major platforms. You can even make money off your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcast in one place with absolutely no cost to you. So if you're interested and want to check this one off your life list, be sure to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, that's anchor.fm to get started with your podcast today.
The fourth polymath principle we'll discuss is that your job doesn't define you, meaning that you are more than just your job. Now, this is a realization I had chatting over drinks with one of the crew members, and I think back at that conversation now with Sean, and it totally changed my outlook on life and really made me realize something that I think growing up I never would have really grasped. It gave me a whole new outlook, and I've kind of lived my life that way ever since. Hopefully you also find it helpful as well. Now, when you say that your job doesn't define you, essentially what I'm saying is that you're more than just your occupation. We all have many roles in this life. So you need to remember that your job isn't your identity. There are so many professions that are subject to this, where people hear what you do for a living and immediately associate you just with those characteristics. When in actuality, every person is an individual, no matter what they do for their work. And you really need to look at people as individuals. And that includes yourself. You're an individual. You're not just your job. People look at doctors, law enforcement, even teachers. They immediately have certain things that they think about them when you say that you're a cop or you're a doctor or you're a teacher. All these preconceived notions. And we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves too, where we adopt from the culture. But you don't have to. You don't have to live like that. You can just be you. And you can do what you do for your occupation. And when your day is done, then you can wear your other hats. You don't have to fall into stereotypes, good or bad. You can just be you. Especially nowadays, you have to remember, in addition to just your own thought about who you are in relation to your job, you also have to realize that no one's job is safe anymore. You need to embrace who you are and embrace the opportunities that present themselves to you. You won't lose your identity by changing jobs. You find this a lot in people that are just miserable at their job, but that's all they've ever saw themselves as doing. But you need to realize that you can always learn to do something new. You can always apply somewhere else. You're not stuck. You're never stuck in one job. You choose to be stuck. If you open your mind to opportunities and just realize that you're capable of a lot more than you realize, you will not be chained to your job anymore. There's so many ways that your job and your career plans could be sabotaged. Even as a young person coming out of college or out of high school for that matter, you have a plan, or maybe you don't. But either way, no matter what your thoughts are on where you think you're going, there are so many things that can sabotage your career plan. I know it from experience. And no matter how much you can prepare yourself for this, you really need to try and make yourself as marketable as possible and not be afraid to try new things, not be limited in what you think you're capable of. Realize that there are a lot of skills that cross over into a lot of different professions. If you're going to have to spend your time somewhere making money, pay your bills, why not enjoy what you're doing? Why not be happy doing it? Why not finding ways to grow as a person while you're there and help you move on to that next step, that next level, whatever it may be? My career path has been a bit of a train wreck if you look at it on a resume, but I really enjoy my story. I enjoy telling it to people. It's very unique. And the lessons I've learned, I think I have a different perspective than a lot of people do. So anybody out there that's feeling stuck in their job, remember, you're more than just your job. You're capable of so much. Don't be afraid to step out of the comfort zone of your cozy job and challenge yourself and find something that'll help make you happy. That moves us on to the fifth principle, that your past doesn't equal your future. This relates to jobs, relationships. We all make mistakes. You have to stop your toxic thinking. Your past does not determine your future. Every day you wake up, you have a new opportunity to start over. You have a new opportunity to change. If you learn your lessons from the past and move on and don't let your mistakes haunt you, you will continue to grow and be a better person every day. You can't let the negativity from your past affect your future. It'll consume you, whatever it is. Maybe it was a bad relationship. Maybe you made some bad career decisions. Whatever it is, you got to let it go. You have to keep your mind open to accept all of the positivity and excitement that the future brings. If you're keeping yourself chained to your past, you can never move forward. You're capable of so much. Don't keep your head in the past. Keep looking forward. No matter what your past, the future is always brighter. It's always full of opportunities. It's your outlook that determines the result. Don't be a glass half empty kind of person. Grab that pitcher and fill that glass. The possibilities are endless out there and only limited by your imagination. Go out there and find the opportunities. Break from the past and move forward. It brings us to the sixth and final principle that we discussed today, which is widen your perspective. In these divisive times, it's easy to just follow the crowd of opinions. As a polymath, though, you should be exposed to an eclectic variety of opinions and points of view. You have to utilize these resources to approach life more objectively. If you empathize and try to put yourselves in other people's situations, you're able to better understand a topic, even when you disagree strongly with someone. By taking the time to see it from their point of view, at least you can gain some understanding, and maybe it modifies your point of view a little bit. Opinions are a dime a dozen these days, and the truth is, when you really think about it, none of our opinions matter. The only opinions matter when you either agree with someone or disagree with someone strongly, and you latch on or fight each other. Social media has screwed people up to think that opinions are facts with this herd-like mentality where people go to one side or the other. It's very divisive, and it separates people and keeps people from talking about the things that really matter in making progress. The more open your mind is, the greater your possibilities in life. If you limit yourself with your own negative, biased thoughts, you're only hurting yourself. If you're always following the crowd, how will you ever find your individuality? How will you realize who you are and what you contribute to society? The more open your mind, the greater your possibilities are in life. Why would you want to limit yourself with negative, biased thoughts? You're only hurting yourself in the end. You're only holding yourself back. Instead, embrace your life and all the many possibilities it presents to you, whatever they are. Don't judge people. Instead, try to understand them as individuals, just like you would want them to understand you. Be an individual. Don't follow the herd of people. Don't follow the popular. Keep your eyes open and follow your own path. Live as an individual and make your mark on the world. Now, these 6 polymath principles, along with the 4 areas of a polymath, lay the groundwork for how to live the everyday polymath lifestyle. For more information and guidance, be sure to check out my book, Becoming an Everyday Polymath, exclusively available on Amazon Kindle. Or go out to our website at www.everydaypolymath.com. Big shout out to all of our loyal podcast listeners on all the various platforms that we're on currently. Please be sure to subscribe and leave us a little review if you get a chance. We really appreciate it. Hopefully pass it on to some of your friends, family, anybody that you think might be interested in listening to the podcast as we continue to add episodes here weekly and continue to grow together. Really looking forward to bringing more great content and helping more people as we move forward find their way on their journey to becoming an everyday polymath. If you'd like to send me a message or donate to support the podcast so you can continue to promote the Everyday Polymath way of thinking, please check out our podcast page at anchor.fm/everydaypolymath. Or you can always contact us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For more Everyday Polymath content, please go to the website www.everydaypolymath.com. Once again, thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe so you can get the latest and greatest podcast updates when they're released. I'm Keith, your Everyday Polymath, reminding you to stay curious, my friends.